What's up YouTube? I've got another VCR repair for you today. I purchased this one off of electronicbay.com. The seller listed it for parts or repair. The description stated that it powered on, but there was a tape stuck inside. And surprisingly, it's not a mode switch issue. We're diving in to swap out a part that is surprisingly available, not from Sony, but an aftermarket supplier. So here it is, the Sony SLV-675HF, digital auto tracking with a hi-fi stereo. A little bit of an older unit. I'm not entirely sure of the exact date, but likely late 90s, early 2000s. So I'll remove the cover, and yes, there's definitely a tape stuck inside, as well as some broken plastic clips. There's another one back here. So I'll kick the power on and see what happens. Looks like the roller guides are retracting and the tape comes out, so I'm not sure what's wrong, but we'll put it back in and see what happens. I can hear the motor changing speeds, like it's trying really hard to engage, but it's still not pushing those roller guides out. So I'll strip it down, I'll take the front faceplate off, screws out, pull the deck, and take a look to see what's wrong. Okay, so first thing I noticed, these contacts are pretty dirty. I don't think that's what's causing the issue, but I'm going to clean it up just like that, nice and shiny, and I'll put it back in. We'll see what happens. Okay, so putting the tape back in, and the roller guides come out this time, but they're still not fully engaging. There's a little bit of a gap, and now they come back, going out. I'm trying to force them in, and it's still not working. So now I pulled the deck. I'm going to remove the loading motor and inspect it, because for some reason it's just not running correctly. And if you've made it this far, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe. It would really help this channel grow. Now looking over the loading assembly, I noticed this big crack in this coupler here. I'll zoom in a second so y'all can see it. But this is definitely slipping on the shaft and preventing the mechanism from engaging. So to prove this, I'm going to put 5 volts DC across the motor and try to hold it still. Yep, so it binds up pretty easily. When I was disassembling everything, I accidentally broke the split washer that held this gear down. So I took a plastic lid from a yogurt container, drilled a small hole in it that was slightly smaller than the shaft, cut the circle out, and then cut a slit in it. Worked pretty well to hold it in while I assembled everything back. So here it is, the part I ordered off eBay. It is a 3D printed replacement model made of sintered plastic, I believe. I do have a 3D printer, but it's a layered type printer, so I think it would be pretty weak in this application. The shear force would be right along those layer lines, and I don't think it would hold up very long. This thing's pretty tough. Getting the fit here was a bit of trial and error. It has to sit at the right height for everything to mesh correctly. And then there's this rubber coupler you have to add. I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of this is, but it goes in between these two coupling gears. Okay, so I finally got it lined up pretty well. I think this one's a winner. Now I need to put the screws back in. Problem was, one of the screws can't go back in with this gear in the way, so I had to disassemble everything, which gives me a good opportunity to point out the timing that has to happen with these gears. There's timing holes on each gear that need to line up in a certain way, and I'll point that out. So, for timing, we've got this upper hole here that lines up with the hole in the metal right behind it. We also have this hole here in the other gear that also lines up with the metal hole right behind it. And then putting this gear back on, we're going to make sure that the holes are also lined up. And when the gear's in place, reinstall the split washer that I didn't break on top. I wasn't sure how this black gear played into all of it, so I spun it around a few times, flipped the deck over, spun it around again. Turns out it actuates the pinch roller, and there's also a hole in a gear and a hole in the metal frame that need to align, so that was easy. When I tried to reinstall the loading motor, I couldn't get it to sit flat. It kept wobbling like something was preventing it from going down. Eventually I found out it was this little latch here. If you push this latch up, then the mechanism moves out of the way and allows the motor to engage and sit flat. Here's another timing check. This arrow on the gear lines up with this arrow on the metal frame. These holes are still lined up here and here. To cut this video a little bit shorter, I've jumped ahead, everything's installed, and I'm turning it on to see what happens. Looks like we got power to the head drum, that's good. And we're going to pop a videotape back in and see if it plays. And of course it does. Was there ever really any doubt? Blocking the screen here, don't want to get a copyright strike, but this is the exercise tape that was stuck inside. I decided I'm going to start putting my logo on decks that I've repaired. Maybe one day a VCR will find its way back to me for another repair. I ended up selling this unit to someone locally. They run a digitalization company, so they burn through VCRs quite often. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I'd appreciate a like. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Comment down below if this video helped you out. See ya.